Hare Krishna. Can someone play Karta? Somebody likes to play, somebody knows how to play. ठीक है. आइए तो यहाँ से. Hare Krishna. Welcome you all to Sunday evening feast program. Thank you so much to have you all here. So today we will discuss and will glorify Srila Prabhupada. You all have been coming to temple for so many times, so many months or however long you've been coming. But you see Srila Prabhupada is there. So today is the day when Srila Prabhupada, actually it was 1st of September, when Prabhupada left for America. From India, from Calcutta. So we'll discuss about that a little bit. Yeah. So however time permits. Let's sing Jai Radha Madhav. Yeah. Please sing along. Jai Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jayo Girivaradhari Jayo Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jayo Girivaradhari Jayo Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा गोपीनाथ राधा गोपीनाथ श्री राधे। जय राधा गोविंद श्री राधे। जय राधा पार्थ सारथी श्री राधे। जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे। जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद। जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव। जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की। We'll do Mangalacharan now. If you know the prayers, please repeat. Otherwise, please hear. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यं मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्री गुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं सावधेतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते
गोपेश गोपिका कांता श्री राधा कांता नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये कल्पतरोभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। भूतेर्महद्भिर्यैमा पुरो विभो निर्मायशेते यदमोष पुरुषा भुङ्क्ते गुणांशो दशषोडशात्मकं सोलंक सृष्ट भगवान् वचांसि मे श्रीकृष्ण शरणं शरणागतं कथा अमृतं सतत पीबतं भक्ति वेदांत मार्ग पंथनम सर्वलोक ऋषि देव जन्म प्रसन्नम सर्वलोक ऋषि देव जन्म प्रसन्नम। Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji, I seek your blessings. May the Supreme Lord decorate my tongue. May the right words come at the right time. And I'm truly able to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, and serve all of you. Please bless me. Please pray for me. Hare Krishna. So, like I was saying, today's topic is Prabhupada's departure for the West. So how many of you know about or know how Srila Prabhupada went to America? How much do you know about it? Maybe I just want to get some idea. You know, when we do Aarti, you are all familiar with the Aarti. During the Aarti, the devotees from here, the Pujari gives them the lamp and they are trying to go to Srila Prabhupada and offer him first and then bring it back. Do you understand the concept? Do you know, sometimes we are so excited, so anxious that we want to take the Aarti, but we don't realize that they are first taking it to Srila Prabhupada and then all of us take that. So the first it is offered to Srila Prabhupada. Do you know any of, just raise your hands. Do you know about this? Did you know about this or not at all? You did not know about this. That's what they are doing. That's what devotee is doing. They first, everything, so first offer to Supreme Personality of Godhead, then our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, and then all of us. Yeah. And if there is a sannyasi here, if there is a senior preacher here, then we offer them first and then it flows. So this is what we call disciplic succession. Yeah. Okay. Prabhuji, Mataji, please take a seat. There is plenty of place here. For next 45 minutes, I really want your focus. Let's concentrate. Let's try and understand. Right? It's going to be a very important session for us. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a question by Shaunakadi Rishi to Sud Goswami. It's okay if you don't know much about Srimad Bhagavatam, but I hope by the end of this session you will have some understanding. Yeah. So in Srimad Bhagavatam there is a question by Shaunakadi Rishi to Sud Goswami, and in that question they are asking that Prayena alp ayusha sabhya kalau asmin yuge jana, yeah? Mand sumand matyo mand bhagyahi upadhrata. Yeah? So this is Kali Yuga. We are in Kali Yuga. Do we all know that we are in Kali Yuga now? Do we have any doubt we are in Kali Yuga? Right. Do we like Kali Yuga? We don't like Kali Yuga? No choice? That's right. There. You are there. Yes, that's right. But very interesting. I'm going to speak from Srimad Bhagavatam. You know, it is actually Srimad Bhagavatam says here Karbhajan, who is speaking to Maharaj Videha, who is the Nemi, Maharaj Nemi, who is the king of Janakpuri, from where Mother Sita came. So Karbhajan Rishi, who is one of the 9 Yogendras, Nav Yogendras, he is telling the king Maharaj Nemi that Kritadishu Praja Rajan. Krit means Satyug. So he says Kritadishu Praja Rajan Kalau Icchanti Sambhavam. He says in Satyug and other yugas, Treta Yug, Dwapar Yug, right? Praja, the living entities or the people who were born in Satyug, in Dwapar or in Treta, they would want to Kalau Icchanti Sambhavam. They would want to take birth in Kali Yuga. This is Srimad Bhagavatam saying. They would like to be born in Kali Yuga. Now the question is why? Then he answers, he says, Kalau Khalu Bhavishyanti Narayana Parayana. In Kali Yuga, there will be maximum devotees of Narayan. There will be devotees who will be surrendered to Bhagavan Narayan. Yeah? 11th canto, 5th chapter, verse number 38. If you want a reference. Yeah? But we'll come to that. Yeah? So let's go back. So the question that is asked by Shaunaka Rishi, and mind you, this question belongs to all of us. Somebody is asking a question on your behalf, on my behalf. So let's understand the question. So what they are saying is, Prayena Alp Ayusha Sabhya. So they are addressing to Sud Goswami, who is sitting in the Vyasasana. Oh, learned one. In Kali Yuga, the living entities will be short-lived. Their lifespan will be less. Alp Ayusha. Right? Kalau Asmin Yuge Jana. In the Kali Yuga. Right? And then other few characteristics are mentioned here. Manda. Manda is in lazy. You know, people say Manda Dhanda. Dhanda bahut manda chal raha hai. Slow. Laziness. People will be lazy. Manda. Sumand Matyo. Right? They will be misguided. They will have the intelligence. Mat means, you know how you go to vote. In India it is said matdan, right? आप अपने मत का दान कीजिए. You give your vote. So mat means your understanding. So here they are saying they will be misguided. Why they are misguided? Because their intelligence is pointed in the wrong direction. That is why they are misguided. Intelligence is there, but it is misguided. Okay? And mand bhagyo, they will be misfortune. Very often we say my destiny is bad, I've got this, I've got that, I expected that. Right? So what are the characteristics? What is the first one? Alpayu, short-lived. What is the second one? Lazy. Yeah, and what is the third one? Misguided. Right? Sumand Matyo. And then the fourth one is Mand Bhagya. Right? Misfortune. And Upadruta. Upadruta means they will be disturbed. They will be disturbed. So do you agree? Who thinks they don't fall into this category? Right? We are all in that category. Right? But, so this is the symptom of Kali Yuga. Right? But we don't have to be disheartened. This is spoken in the first canto, first chapter, verse number 10. But then again, when Shukdev Goswami is concluding Srimad Bhagavatam in the 12th canto, 12:12, right? So there he is saying that yes, it is there. Right? Kaler dosho nidhe rajan asti hi eko mahan guna. Yeah? Kirtanad eva krishnasya mukt sanga param vrijet. This is a very important point you need to understand. Yes, there are so many discrepancies. There are so many things you don't like about Kali Yuga. But Kali Yuga has a very good quality. What is that? Sankirtan. Kaler dosho nidhe rajan. Nidhe as in, it is the ocean of doshas. Ocean of bad things you can say. Full of. But it has one great quality. And that is Kirtanad eva Krishnasya. If you do Kirtan, if you glorify Krishna, if you participate in Sankirtan movement, that's what you are all doing here. Then Mukta Sangha, you get fully detached, and Param Vrajet. You go to the supreme destination and you get free from all these attachments. Then you go back to that. So Kali Yuga presents such a great opportunity for you. Yeah. Understand? And that's why Karbhajan Rishi, now going back to 11th canto, 5th chapter, verse number 38. That's why Karbhajan Rishi is telling Maharaj Nimi that that's why the jivas who were born in Satyug, Dwapar or Treta Yuga, they want to be born in Kali Yuga. They want to be born in the Kali Yuga because Kali Yuga presents such a great opportunity. And then he asks further, okay, please tell me what else? Why do they want to take birth in Kali Yuga? And then he goes on to say, in the Kali Yuga, it is so powerful that some kirtanena, just by participating in the Sankirtan movement, yeah, just by participating in the Sankirtan movement, they get param labh, they get topmost benefit, right? They all their swarths, all their desires, all their desired goals are achieved. Yeah, sarva swartho api labhyate. All your swarthas, all your desired goals you are able to achieve in Kali Yuga. Yatra sankirtanen eva. Only by participating in the Sankirtan movement, you are able to achieve all your goals. Right? Now the question comes, okay, how do we get this opportunity to perform the Sankirtan movement? That's where our Srila Prabhupada comes. You are all here. You are all sitting here. You are all able to get these benefits. Whose mercy is it? Srila Prabhupada. He brought the Sankirtan movement in this country. Right? It was already predicted. Right? In Chaitanya Bhagavat, Mahaprabhu is saying, Prithvi te yache nagar adi gram sarvatra prachar hoibe mora naam. Prithvi te yache. On this whole earth, as many nagars, as many cities, as many villages are there, everywhere my name will be heard and sung. This is already spoken. Then in another scripture, Chaitanya Mangal, Shri Lochandas Thakur, Mahaprabhu, he quotes Mahaprabhu said himself that in Kali Yuga I will appear. I will appear with a sword of Nam Sankirtan. Ebe Nam Sankirtan Khadagalaya. I will have this sword of Nam Sankirtan. And with this sword of Nam Sankirtan, what I will do is, I will cut the root. I will cut the tree of all the sins from within your heart. And if somehow you escape from Bharat Bhumi, now this is for all of us. If somehow you escape from there, right, you get scared, oh look, now that's, all my desires tree is going to be cut. What happened? Then Mahaprabhu says that if by any chance, right? If by any chance, yadi papi dharma chhadi dure deshe yaya. That's for all of us. If a sinner leaves the principle of religion and goes to far away country. This is written in the scriptures, Prabhuji Mataji. I'm quoting the scriptures, right? This is spoken by Mahaprabhu himself. Right? He says, Yadi papi dharma chhadi dure deshaya. If a papi leaves the religious principles and go away to the far, far country, then what will happen? Mora senapati bhakt yaibe tathaya. My senapati, my commander, my soldier will come and he will take care of them. And that is Srila Prabhupada for all of you. Srila Prabhupada ki. Yeah. So, Prabhuji Mataji, just now let's understand from Prabhupada Leelamrit. We coming here, we are able to glorify Shri Radha Gopinath, we are able to participate in this Sankirtan movement. So far you have understood the value and the qualities of Kali Yuga. You have understood by participating in the Sankirtan movement, all your desires, goals can be achieved. Right? For that we have this facility here in this country. Right? Now for Srila Prabhupada to come here, and by the way, you know these deities, Srila Prabhupada brought them in his lap. They did not come in a cargo. They did came first, but then they went back. That is some other time, you know, His Grace Shubh Krishna Prabhu, he keeps arranging these sessions, so he might arrange for you one day, and then you will get to hear how Srila Gopinath came to Australia. Yeah. But second time they came, Srila Prabhupada carried them on his lap. That's how they are here. Yeah. And now we are all able to come in front of them. So Srila Prabhupada, when he was a young householder, his father's name Gaur Mohan De. And His Grace Gaur Mohan De, he was a very pious person. He would invite many sadhus to his place, and he never discriminated whether someone is a bogus sadhu or someone is a real sadhu. Whoever has come onto his door, he will welcome all of them, and whatever was possible, he will honor them with prasadam, Lakshmi, whatever. Right? And Prabhupada says he was a middle class businessman. He was not a very rich person. But he was very dedicated to respecting all the sadhus. And whenever those sadhus leave, and if they offer something, so Gaur Mohan De will say, please bless my son. Please bless my son, Abhay Charanarvind. Right? Abhay. Please bless him. May he get the mercy of Srimati Radharani. So like this, Srila Prabhupada had seen those sadhus come and go and conduct programs at his house. So once one of Srila Prabhupada's friend, he told him that there is a sadhu here, we should go and see him. And Prabhupada refused. Prabhupada said, I've seen so many sadhus. I'm not interested. But then his friend was so close, he insisted, he said, no, you please come. And he took Srila Prabhupada with him. He took Srila Prabhupada with him, and there our Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, who is Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master, he was giving a class there. And as the lecture was going on, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, he saw Srila Prabhupada, and he told him, somehow, straight away there was an eye contact, there was a connection, right? And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur could see that here is a pious soul. And he told him that you are an educated person, you should go and preach this Krishna conscious to the Western world. You should take it overseas. At that time, Srila Prabhupada did not understand much. He had just entered into the Grahastha ashram, right? But then later on, the Srila Prabhupada maintained contact. Then he got initiated, and he maintained contact with his spiritual master. But he always remembered that instruction that I have to preach in the Western world. And I keep reminding that is why we are all here, right? It is because of his mercy, right? So Srila Prabhupada was always thinking, how can I go overseas? How can I go overseas? And then he tried to establish the movement in India. He tried many times. There were many failures, right? Failures, or you can say things did not move forward, right? It was our failure or people's failure, who could not honor a sadhu. But once again, Supreme Lord wanted Srila Prabhupada to do bigger things, right? So he was always thinking, how can I go overseas? How can I go to West and preach? So once it so happened, he met in Mathura one devotee, Mr. Agarwal. He was a devotee from Mathura. Srila Prabhupada met him, and just he made a passing remark that I want to go to West. Please help me. And Srila Prabhupada later recalls, I just said to him, because I used to say that to everyone. Everyone he saw, he would tell him that I want to go overseas. I want to go and preach in the West. Please help me. Srila Prabhupada said that to him, and then some time passed. During this time, Srila Prabhupada, he was printing. Haribol Prabhuji, Mataji, please take a seat here. Don't stand near the door. There could be other people coming. There is plenty of space here. Come forward. Come forward, please. Yeah. So during that time, Srila Prabhupada was also busy with printing, translating Srimad Bhagavatam, so that one of the other instructions from his Guru Maharaj was to translate the books in English, so that the next generation, they can easily read that. So Srila Prabhupada was translating Srimad Bhagavatam also. And by this time, he had translated the third volume of Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto. By the way, I once again, I recommend and I humbly request you all, please get a copy of Srimad Bhagavatam for yourself. Please meet our devotees at the reception, please see Shubh Krishna Prabhu, right? Please take Srimad Bhagavatam for your family. Yeah? It is highly recommended. You should have it at your home. Yeah? So Srila Prabhupada was trying to get it printed, and he did not have so many means. He was living in Vrindavan. He will travel in the third class compartment. If you are from India, you would have seen in third class compartment. There is not even a place to sit. He will travel in the morning. From Vrindavan, he will come to Delhi. He will come to Delhi when he has enough money. He will have his manuscript typed. It was a broken typewriter that he was typing. He will have his manuscript. He will have as much donation he had collected. He will be coming to Delhi and he will be going to the printers. He will buying the paper. He will take his manuscripts. He will be editing his typing and he will give them the money for printing. And in the evening he will go back to Vrindavan because there was no place for him to stay in Delhi. Like this he was managing his time. So he had come to Delhi, but now he has spoken to this Prabhu, Mr. Agarwal, who was from Mathura, to get his visa, to help him go back to the West. Right? Now Prabhupada, by this time the third volume was ready, and he thought, now let me go and sell this volume to generate some donation. So he went to Mumbai. He went to Bombay at the time, and he knew some person who was involved in the publishing business. So he requested him to help him. Right? He requested him to help him, and that Prabhu, he bought some books from him, and then he took him to a shop. He took him to a shop, and that shopkeeper said, there is not much demand for religious books, so we cannot help you out. This was in the 60s. Yeah? This was in the 60s, early 65. Yeah? Then he took him to another shop. Another shop, they also looked at the books. They said, sorry, we cannot help you. We are not able to purchase your books. Then he took him to another place which was a rich temple. It was a rich organization. They had enough funds. Right? They had a library of their own. And Srila Prabhupada requested them, please keep 1 or 2 set of Srimad Bhagavatam in your library. They looked at the books. They looked at the Srimad Bhagavatam. They said, sorry, we cannot help you. Not much worked out. But all the attempts Srila Prabhupada was making to somehow bring Srimad Bhagavatam to here. For all of us. No, not much help. Then Srila Prabhupada came back to Delhi. As he was in Delhi, then suddenly he got a letter saying from the Ministry of External Affairs that we have received a sponsorship letter for you to go to America. And Prabhupada says, I just made a passing remark to this person, to this Agarwal person. Now this Prabhuji Mataji, please come forward. There is a lot of places here. Please come. Please come. Yeah. And then Prabhupada said, I just spoke to him. So this Prabhu, whose name was Mr. Agarwal, his son was an engineer. And he was living in Butler, Pennsylvania. He was living there and he was very happy to sponsor. His name was Gopal. See? So he had such a pious name. So the father told his son that here is this sadhu who wants to come to America, you please sponsor him. And that son, he was so obedient, he arranged for the sponsorship of this sadhu without even knowing him. And Prabhupada says, I had only known this person for a few minutes. It is like you taking prasadam, you tell someone, please help me, and the next you hear is, the help is already arranged. So this person who was living, Gopal Agarwal, who was living in America, he had an engineer's job. He went to his job. He got a bank account statement. He got a letter from from his employer, and he sent a letter saying that I am happy to take care of expenses of this person as long as he is living in America. And he sent that sponsorship letter to India. Now sponsorship letter has come. Prabhupada did not have his passport. No passport. No visa, right? Those days they also required a P form, and obviously there is no money. There is no money to get airfare or to get ticket to go to America. Now as soon as Prabhupada heard about it, now the next fight began. This time he again went back to Bombay. Not to sell the books, but he was going to collect money, collect donations so that he can somehow go to America. Right? So we had a company at that time, Scindia company, right? They were a very big business corporate, at that time, right? And there they had a senior manager. Her name was Sumati Morarji, right? So she was very kind-hearted. She was like a daughter to Srila Prabhupada. Somehow Srila Prabhupada got in contact with her. Srila Prabhupada goes there and spoke to her secretary, whose name was Mr. Chauksy. And Srila Prabhupada tell him, look, I've got a sponsorship letter. I need to go to New York. Please arrange a ticket for me. And this secretary now goes and spoke to Sumati Morarji. And Sumati Morarji hears and she says, why he wants to go to America? He's so old. He was 69. Prabhupada was 69 at the time. She says, he is so old. No, it's not fit for him to go there. He might as well stay here and complete his work and complete the translation of Srimad Bhagavatam. She said no. Now Mr. Chauksy came back and he told Prabhupada that Srimati Morarji has said no. Then Prabhupada trained her secretary again. No, you please go and convince her. You please go and convince her that yes, I am fit to go there. He goes again and he tells Srimati Morarji. And this time Srimati Morarji say, what are you talking? He is an old man. He will die there. He won't be able to come back to India. There is so much cold in America. Nobody will listen to him or understand him. Here he comes and stays in a dharamshala. In India, Prabhupada was able to get an audience with Prime Minister, with governors. In America, who knows he is a sadhu? She's saying at least there is some understanding. People think somebody coming with the orange cloth, we should respect him. But in America, who will take care of him? She said no. Then Prabhupada said no. Please arrange an audience for me. Please arrange a meeting for me to go and speak to Srimati Morarji myself. And then he arranged, Mr. Chauksy arranged, and Srila Prabhupada goes and meets with her. And then she says the same thing. She says, Swamiji, what are you doing? You are not fit to travel there. It will be very difficult for you there. And my secretary thinks you are going there to die. And then Prabhupada looks at her and like a father, Prabhupada, speaks to her and raises his hand like a father telling a daughter, no, my dear daughter, you don't worry, I will be fine there. Just please arrange a ticket for me to go to America somehow. And then she agrees. She said, okay, please arrange your visa, please arrange your P form. We will be able to send you to America. We will get you one ticket on one of our cargo ship. Not a proper ship, not a proper plane ticket. On a cargo ship, we'll be able to get you a ticket. Prabhupada comes back. He did not have any place to stay. So she arranges for him to stay in an apartment because Scindia company, they had their own group of apartment for employees, staff quarters. So it was an unfurnished accommodation and she arranges one room for Srila Prabhupada there. No furniture, nothing. He just has his trunk of his books and he himself. Now ship has been arranged. A ticket on ship has been arranged. He needed the P form. He also needed his passport. So then he spoke to one person who arranged his passport. By 10th June 1965, Prabhupada received his passport. So what he has received so far? He received a sponsorship letter. He has received his passport. He knows that he has got a ticket to go. Now the other thing remaining was visa to America. Visa still hasn't come. And he also needed P form. P form was issued by State Bank of India. So like Commonwealth Bank here, State Bank of India was like that in India. So State Bank of India would issue a letter, would issue a certificate saying this person does not have any debt. He can be allowed to travel overseas. Srila Prabhupada, what kind of debt will he have? A sannyasi. He put in a request to the State Bank in charge that please issue me a letter. And few weeks passed, there was no letter coming. He got his visa because he had a sponsorship from America and because Scindia company was backing him, he got his visa. But P form wasn't coming. And then after some time he went to see the manager who would issue the P form, and when Srila Prabhupada spoke to him, the manager said, Swamiji, we cannot get you issue a P form. Prabhupada said, why you can't give me P form? He said, no, we cannot give you a P form because you are sponsored by an individual person. You are sponsored by a man, by an individual. If you are sponsored by an organization, then we can give you a P form, but otherwise we cannot give you a P form. And then Prabhupada said, then what is your decision? He said, I have rejected your application. And then Prabhupada said, no, please don't do this. Please don't do this. See, literally he's begging. Prabhupada said, please don't do this. Please arrange an audience for me with your manager. And then he arranged a meeting for Prabhupada to go and see his manager, Mr. Rao. Prabhupada goes and he's waiting outside. He tells the secretary that there is a file by such and such name. I'm waiting for a P form. Can you please check? And secretary goes and informs Mr. Rao. He was such a pious person. He comes out and he sees Prabhupada personally and he says, I have approved for your P form. So you get your P form. Now he's got his P form. He's got his visa. He's got his passport. He's got his ticket. Right? He's ready to go. But there is no money. What to do? So then where he was staying, where Srimati Morarji had given him an apartment or a semi-furnished or no furnished room, so there some neighbors were there and they felt so much respect for Srila Prabhupada. They knew that Srimati Morarji is sending him to America. They, out of respect, they came to help him. And they looked in the telephone directory of all the rich people in the town. They took out their phone number and then they told Srila Prabhupada, we'll help you call them, and during the day he will go and visit them personally to request for some donation so that he can have some money with him while he is going to America. He can carry his things. Like this he is going every day. But there is not much happening. From Scindia company he will be going to, I don't know what is that popular train station, but it is said that it was 2 kilometer distance. He will walk every day. Because there was no money to pay bus fare. He was saving money. So that he can come here and for you all to have this association. For you all to participate in this Sankirtan movement. Somehow things worked out. There was not much money, but the time came. Now Mrs. Morarji had given him a ticket to get on a Jaldut ship, a cargo ship. And the ship was to leave in August 1965. Right? And 2 weeks were left, and then Srimati Morarji arranged for Mr. Choksi, her secretary, to go and buy some warm clothes for this sannyasi, for Swamiji who wants to go to America. And Mr. Choksi then took Srila Prabhupada around town, and he said he spent about 250 rupees to buy him a woolen jacket, to buy him a few extra dhotis, and like this he arranged a few things for Srila Prabhupada. And now during this time, now Mr. Choksi recalls that he would sometime even tease Srila Prabhupada. He will tease him. He will say, why do you want to go to America? Why did you stay here in Mumbai, in Bombay and set something up? But Prabhupada said, no. It is the instruction from my spiritual master. I want to go because there are so many people living there. They don't have any idea about Shri Shri Radha Krishna. I want to take the holy name there. So that those people, those souls, they can also glorify Shri Shri Radha Krishna. I want to go to America. That is why I want to go there. And Mr. Choksi says, jokingly, he would tell Srila Prabhupada, no, Swamiji, you want to go there because you want to see the states. Like a tourist. All the sannyasis go there to enjoy. You also want to go there to enjoy, to see the states. And Srila Prabhupada said, what is left there for me to see? I am 69 now. I am about to die soon. There is not much for me to see. So Mr. Choksi could see that this gentleman, he had very strong desire. He was very determined to go and serve his spiritual master and serve all of you. I keep reminding you again and again, so that you have an appreciation when you come here in these temples. Srila Prabhupada says these temples are like oases in a desert. Would you agree? Right? Yesterday only I put a post on Facebook. One Mataji, I don't know her, but she replies back on the Facebook, says, Prabhu, I've been to North Sydney temple, and your North Sydney temple is not a temple, it is like an oasis. And I sent her this message, this quote from Srila Prabhupada. And then she says, then Prabhuji, does it mean I am on the right track? I said, yes, Mata, you are absolutely on the right track. Keep visiting these temples. Yeah. So then Mr. Choksi finally, he puts Prabhupada, he helps him board a train to come to Calcutta, because the ship was going to leave from Calcutta. Now Srila Prabhupada is in Calcutta. In Calcutta, Srila Prabhupada says that where he had about 100 of relatives. He was born in Calcutta. His parents, his childhood was there. Think of a city where you were born. But in this same city now, Prabhupada did not have even a single person that he can go and meet. Not a single person that he can go and see and ask for some help. He going and he is staying in a dharamshala. You know what dharamshala is? You know, where they allow you to stay for free. So he went and stayed in a dharamshala. He called one person, Mr. Bhattacharya, who was with Srila Prabhupada. When he spoke at governor's house. So Srila Prabhupada spoke, and this person, Bhattacharya, he was doing kirtan. So Srila Prabhupada called him. And Mr. Bhattacharya helped Prabhupada. He took him everywhere. He says, we will rent a taxi for the day and we will go and come back. But during this time, there is a very interesting story that I want to tell you now. Srila Prabhupada goes to Mayapur. He goes to Mayapur, and actually this story is told by the priest of the Mayapur. He goes to Mayapur, and in Mayapur, Shri Advaitacharya house. You know Panchatattva? Who knows Shri Advaitacharya? Jai Shri, please repeat. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So when you see Panchatattva on if you are facing them, they are on your left hand side, on the left side. So Mahaprabhu is in the middle, then facing them, left side is Nityanand Prabhu, on the far left is Shri Advaitacharya, who is an incarnation of Shri Mahavishnu. Yeah? So there in Shantipur, near Mayapur, in Shantipur, Advaitacharya house is there. In Advaitacharya house, there is a temple, right? So the priest came in 1980 to Mayapur, and priest was telling all the devotees that I have been the priest of that place since 1940s and 1950s. He says long time ago, a grasta person will come to the temple. He would be wearing khadi dhoti and a kurta. He will come and then he will sit on the back of the temple and he will be chanting on his bead. You know, very focused, with full concentration he will be chanting, and while he is chanting, the tears will flow from his eyes. And he would be coming once a month, or sometime in 2 months he will come regularly, sit on the back of the temple, he will chant his japa for many hours, then he will pay his dandvat pranam, and to the priest he will say, thank you very much for serving the deities, serving this place so nicely, and he will leave. Like this. So this pujari, this priest says, I did not feel like asking this person any question because I had a profound respect for him. He was sitting there and chanting, and he was crying while he was chanting. And then he says, suddenly that person stopped coming. And now one day this person comes back, and he's sitting at the back, and he's chanting his rounds. And now he's crying more and more crying. As he's chanting his round, he's crying. For many hours this continued. And he says, I'm seeing that sannyasi. This time he is wearing orange clothes. And he came and he bowed down, he paid his dandvat. And this time he paid his dandvat for a long time. Dandvat like a complete danda. You fall flat on the floor. And he paid his dandvat, and when he got up, he again went and to thank the priest. Thank you very much for serving this place so nicely. But this time the priest asked him, hey, I recognize you. You are the same person who used to come many years ago. It must have been like 20 years ago, when Prabhupada was still grasta. Then he took sannyas, he was in Vrindavan, and all those struggle years started when he was trying to set up the movement. So he told Prabhupada that I remember you from those days. What happened? Why you haven't come? Who are you? And then Prabhupada introduced himself that my name is Abhay Charana Arvinda. Abhay Charana Arvinda. Yeah? Prabhupada was later on. But he says, I'm Abhay Charana Arvinda Swami Maharaj. He introduced himself. And then he says, why are you crying? He says, I'm crying because my spiritual master has a desire for me to go and preach in the West, but I don't know how can I fulfill his desire. And that is why I am crying, because I am the most incapable person in this world to fulfill the desire of my spiritual master. So I have come here in this place to do my chanting, because this is where Nityanand Prabhu, this is where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is where Shri Advaita Acharya, they would assemble. And when they started the congregation chanting movement, it was started from this place. That is why I am coming here. I used to come here and I am coming here now to seek their blessings, because after 2 weeks I am going to Calcutta, and from Calcutta I will be going to America. So I have come to seek the blessings of my spiritual master. Blessing of Shri Advaita Acharya. Yeah. So, like this, Prabhupada was crying. And then this priest says that I felt so much respect for this person that he was so determined he wanted to go back. So he said, I obviously gave him my blessings, and then he went away. And then he says that in 1980s, I am seeing so many people coming to Shri Advaita Acharya house. So many Westerns are coming here. And then he says one of the Westerns came and he gave me a magazine, Back to Godhead. And he says in that magazine, Back to Godhead, when I turned the page over, I saw a picture. I saw the painting of my dear friend Srila Prabhupada. I saw the painting of my friend Abhay Charn, who was the person who had come in 1965 to come and seek the blessing of Shri Advaita Acharya. It was his painting in that magazine, Back to Godhead. And he said, the moment I saw it, I felt so thrilled that he had actually done it. He was the one who was worried, who was concerned whether I will be able to go there or whether I will be able to spread the movement. But he says, when I see this magazine, Back to Godhead, he is the founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. I felt so elated, I felt so thrilled that I have come to tell you about this pastime. Are you able to connect the story? Yeah. Prabhupada went there, so this priest, he had no clue. But in 1980s, devotees from here, devotees from America, like you go back and take darshan at Sri Advaita Acharya house. So they are the one who gave him that Back to Godhead, and from that magazine he could see it was that person who would come and sit at the back, who will be crying profusely, who would be praying that please bless me so that I can take this movement overseas. I can take this movement to the West so that people can chant the holy names. Right? So it is those efforts, Prabhuji Mataji, that I want to highlight. And then Srila Prabhupada came back to Calcutta, and then from Calcutta he went to the port. And it is said that he was so excited to go and come here, not to actually to come here, to come and give this, Prem Dhan to all of us, that he reached the port 2 hours before. And there was no one there. And then he reached there, then the staff came, they opened, they let him on the ship. And ship was very small ship. And on the way he had 2 heart attacks. The ship was so small, the waves were tossing the ship like this. If it was a bigger ship, it can handle the waves, but it was tossing the ship like anything. And Srila Prabhupada, he was given a compartment in that ship. And the captain of the ship, Mr. Pandya, he recalls that somehow that person was so pious. And he was saying that we never had such a smooth sailing. Except few hiccups in the beginning, he said we have never had such a smooth sailing from India to America. It was a miracle. And rather, when Srila Prabhupada got off the ship in America, he was saying, you should come back with us, because when you are on the ship was so smooth. So that ship is now captain. Who is the captain of the ship? Srila Prabhupada is the captain of the ship. And you are all passenger on that ship. Right? Don't we all have an obligation now? Now let's come to the point of this. What is the point of all of this, discussing all of these points? If Srila Prabhupada is the Senapati Bhakt, what are we all? You are all his soldiers. Aren't we? If he has set up this place for us, if he is the commander, then are we not all his soldiers? Right? You are all his soldiers. Not just the temple management team. Anyone who has come to this place once, they become Srila Prabhupada's soldiers. Right? And as a soldier, is it not our duty? That is the takeaway. Right? Something has to be taken away from this session. Yes, we have glorified Srila Prabhupada. Yes, we have understood what is the value of, what Kali can do. Right? We can do this Sankirtan chanting. We don't come here every day, we come to attend the Aarti. There is a nice Kirtan going on, right? But Srila Prabhupada did not want that. He wanted us to realize the Supreme Lord. Once somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, have you seen the God? And Prabhupada said, how does it matter whether I've seen the God? What matters is you should also see the God. Not just me. Will you find a spiritual master somewhere who is happy to bring you to his own level? Is he not trying to bring you to his own level? Yes, I have seen, but the success is you also see him. That is the whole reason he came here. He could have stayed in Vrindavan very nicely. He could have, he could have gone back to Godhead. But there is a purpose behind this. The whole purpose behind him, taking all that trouble and pain was to, benefit all of us. So Prabhuji Mataji, I just want to conclude now. We started with the Kali Yuga, right? So Kali Yuga, even though there are so many deficiencies in Kali Yuga, but there is one important thing. If we participate in the Sankirtan movement, then we can go back to Godhead. We can still get Krishna Prem Dhan. Mahaprabhu says, Bahu Janma Kore Yadi Shravana Kirtan Tabu Tan Paye Krishna Pade Prem Dhan. If you do for many lifetimes, you can be chanting, you can be glorifying, but the ultimate aim is to get the Prem Dhan. You understand? So you come and you participate in the congregation chanting, that is one step. What is the next step? Is to get the Prem Dhan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu once again he says that Bhajaner Madhye Shrest, Bhajaner Madhye Shrest Nav Vidha Bhakti, Krishna Prem Krishna Dite Dhare Mahashakti. Right? Tar Madhye Sarv Shrest Naam Sankirtan Nir Aparadh Naam Laila Paye Prem Dhan. Yeah? So Mahaprabhu is saying that Bhajaner Madhye Shrest. In all the kind of bhajan, the Shrest, the topmost is the 9 type of devotional bhakti, which is Shri Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad has spoken, Shri Prahlad has spoken in Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 7. So those 9 type of devotional service, right? And by doing that service, Krishna Dite, Krishna Prem, you can get Krishna Prem, you can get Krishna, it has great strength, Dhare Mahashakti. But even within those Navadha Bhakti, what is the topmost? Tar Madhye Sav Shrest, Naam Sankirtan. Chanting of the holy names is the greatest in that. And by chanting offenselessly, Niraprad Naam Laila, Paye Prem Dhan. Then you can get the Prem Dhan by chanting the holy names without any aparad. So I want to conclude here, Prabhuji Mataji, and I want to say that you are all soldier of Srila Prabhupada. You are not guest in this temple. You are all member of this organization. You are all part of this organization. It is not just that Shubh Krishna Prabhu has to do all the services. It is not just that Manu Bhishta Mataji has to do all the services. Right? Please come and see Mataji if any Mataji wants to do any service. Please come and see Shubh Krishna Prabhu if you want to do any service. We have Janmashtami coming up. We need a lot of service. You are all the soldiers of this army. If you don't help us, how will this movement survive? How will your children benefit? What will happen to the next generation? Why did Prabhupada labor so hard? So that we all can sit here and chant the holy names. Now it is your duty. It is collectively our responsibility. We are all his soldiers now, to protect and take this movement forward. So we need you all to participate. Right? We'll just chant now Prabhupada Pranam Mantra and then we'll stop.